Hello, we are coming back again to our episode of learning numbers. We have learned in the previous episode from 0 to 100. Today we're going to do some basic exercise, and we are also going to learn numbers which are larger numbers. And I will also explain you a worksheet which will be added in the description box, so you all can find the worksheets there as well. Oniva, let's go. Okay. Just a moment, please. Yes. In our previous sessions, we learned numbers which are larger than 100. Today, what we're going to be doing is we will first actually dive deeper into numbers which are larger than 100, and then we will do a little bit of exercises together. We are also going to learn the practical usage of numbers. Let's begin. For whole numbers in French, numbers which are larger than 100 in French, 100 is called as 100. It's called as 100. However, if I want to say 200 in French, any guesses? What will it be? It will be 200. 200. Okay. If you see, the 100 takes an S because I'm saying 200s. So it takes an S. Okay. 300, 400, and so on and so forth. 500 for 500. 600 for 600. 700 for 700. 800, 800. 900, 900. Okay, so if you see for your whole numbers, which will be with hundreds, the song will take an S. However, this logic isn't applied when it's a complex number. Now let's take an example of a complex number. For example, 289. How I say it in English is how I'm going to be saying it in French. Okay, just the only difference is there's no and while saying complex numbers. So it's 289, just like how you say. 200 is nothing but the song. Notice that there is no S in song. 89, which you know already, is 89. So together it becomes 289. That is 289. Okay, we are going to also be seeing some more examples which are based on complex numbers for you to be able to understand it better. Okay, however, when I want to understand what will be 1000, okay, this S rule is not applied to 1000. 1000 in French is called as mille. Mille. Okay, but if I say 2000 in French, it will be 2000. 2000. Let's see what will be 3000 then in French. Any idea? What is 3? Trois. Mille is, and 1000 is mille. 3000. Again, no S is put here. 4000 is going to be 4000. 4000. 5000. 5000. 6000. 6000. 7000. 7000. 7000. 8000. 8000. 9000 is going to be 9000. Remember, in 1000, we don't say a meal. No, that will be incorrect. We just say meal. Okay, so that S logic, which was applied here in hundreds, will not be applied in thousands. Please understand. Now, let's take an example of a complex number, but using thousands. If I want to say this particular number in English, I will say 3012. Correct? We're going to apply the same logic as in French without the and in the middle. So 3000 is 3000. Notice that again, there is no S here. And 12 is 12. So together it becomes 3012. Okay, let's take an example of the current year, which is 2025. Okay. If I want to say properly in English, it will be 2025. In French, it will be 2000 is what? We already know. 2000. 2000. What will be 25? 25 will be 25. 25. 2025. That is going to be your 2025. Okay. At this point, I will again recommend you to pause the video and note down all of these notes at one place so you are able to understand the complex things better. What I mentioned here, primarily that there is no article which is put in front of meal, which means I do not say a meal. No, I will only say meal. Meal is invariable. Okay, it also does not become meal. No, that will be incorrect. Now, to understand our higher numbers, I'm going to take you to this particular. Yes, I'm going to take you to this particular picture. 100 is called as, please repeat after me, répétez après moi. Repeat after me. 100, 1000, 10,000, like 10 is going to be the, and 1,000 is going to be mil. So the mil. 1 lakh. Basically, there's no concept like 1 lakh across the world. It's only in India. So here across the world, it's going to be 100,000. So 100 is 100. 1,000 is going to be mil. 100,000. 100,000. If I want to say a million in French, it is going to be un million. Un million. Remember, O-N, or sound. If I want to say 1 billion in French, un milliard. D, silent. Un milliard. And if 1 trillion, then it becomes 1000 milliards. 1000 milliards, which is nothing but 1,000 of billions. That is going to be 1 trillion. Okay. However, usually, practically, that is what I've noticed, you will need numbers maximum till 10,000. Usually, it does not go to million or billion. If you're talking about population, you again add your million. The word million is being added. Okay. So do not worry and be like, oh my God, how will I say that in French? You will be able to say it. Don't worry. Okay. I'll repeat. This one is 100. 100 is 100. Then meal is going to be, 1,000 is going to be meal. 10,000 the meal. 100,000 100 mille. 1 million a million. 1 billion a milliard. D silent, R distinct sound, and 1 trillion mille milliard. Okay, let's move ahead. Now we are going to move ahead and do and solve some exercises. I have also added some YouTube links for you all in order to understand the pronunciation better. A for smaller numbers and then 1 which are larger numbers as well. Okay, we're going to be doing a couple of exercises together for you to be able to understand it better. Écrivez en lettres. What do you think we have to do here? These are numbers and we have to write them in letters. Okay, let's see. 289 or how we say 289. We've already seen this. 200 is going to be 200. Remember, there is no S here. 89. And that is your 89. 289. Let's see 333. 300 is 333. 33. 467. 400 is 467 is 67. 467. Now, 999. Let's see. 900 is going to be 900. it's always important that you break down the numbers. It becomes much more easier. Okay, so 900. 99 is going to be 99. If you do not understand or remember what 99 is, please go back to the previous video and revise your numbers and then come back and solve this exercise with me. Okay, so 999. 1059. 1000 in French is called as mille. 59, 50 is 50, and 9 is 9. So 1059. 20,189. 189. Like how we say it in English is how we're saying it in French. 20,189. So 20,000. 20 is going to be mille. Sorry, 20. 1,000 is going to be mille. 20,000. 189 is going to be 100. 189. 89. 20,189. Now 2008. Now 2000 babies, whoever has their birthdays in 2000, wouldn't be difficult for you to say your birth year. It's going to be 2008 is going to be 2000 is the meal and 8 is wheat. However, on the contrary, the 90s babies might have a little difficulties while talking about their birthdays. Okay, this is my birth year, which is 1996. And in order to write this, let's see how are we going to be writing this, okay? It is going to be meal 1996. So meal 996 is 4 times 20 plus 16. 96. 1996. Is it tough? I don't think it should be very tough if you have followed the session and the video correctly. Okay, in case you feel that, oh, it's going to be tough for me, please rewind, go back to the video, make notes. It'll be easier. Okay, and do not forget to write properly. This particular thing, I'm going to be letting you do it because it's not going to be very difficult. These are basic numbers. These are some numbers when you have to write them in letters. So try writing them and definitely it will be a good practice for you. Another is the inverse that you have to do. These are certain numbers, letters format it's given and you have to write it in number format. Again, wouldn't be very difficult. Okay. Similarly, this is a mix one. Okay. Wherever it's given in the number, you have to write it in letter, and wherever it's given in letter, you have to write it in numbers. Solve these exercises for your better practice, and it'll be able, and you will be able to practice this quite nicely. Okay. Other than this, I have another worksheet which I am going to be showing it to you. Okay. I'm also going to be adding this worksheet for you in order to understand it better and in order to practice your numbers properly. Okay. So if you see in the first one, relie les nombres au chiffre, you have to match the numbers with the chiffre, with the numbers. Okay. So now let's see how do we do that. You are able to, on one side, you have the numbers which are written in letters, and in the other, it's written in number format. You got to match them. Okay. They're not in the correct format. In the second one, I think it's pretty logical. Here you have to fill the missing piece according to the logic. Okay, this should be pretty much simple. It should not be very difficult. In the third one, you have to write the price in euros. Okay, for that, I will also be teaching you what are the currencies in French for you to be able to understand. Then comes the next part, which is going to be the translation from numbers to letters and from letters to numbers. Okay, what you're going to be practicing. And in the fifth one, it is écriture et conversation, which is writing and conversation. These are certain basic basic questions which somebody can ask you, like what is your number? What is your birth date? Okay. Quel est ton numéro de téléphone, which we are going to be seeing just right after this. Quelle est ton année de naissance? And the last one, quel est le prix de ton objet préféré? Okay, what is the price of your preferred object? Okay, and then to which it is written, il coûte, it costs, and then you got to write the either in rupees, either in euros, the cost. We are going to be seeing this much more in detail just very shortly for you to be able to understand with solutions as well. So please, I will recommend you to first solve this, again, then go back to the solution and then mark your answers. By that, you'll be able to understand where do you stand with the numbers. Let's continue when it comes to our numbers and its practical usage. Now, when I want to talk about my birth date, okay, in French, the question that somebody can ask me or I can ask somebody is, you can repeat after me, quel est ton? If it's informal, you can use ton. If it's formal, you can use votre. So, quel est ton ou votre anniversaire? Anniversaire in French does not mean anniversary, it means birthday. Okay, so do not get confused. So, quel est ton ou votre anniversaire? Another way of asking the same question can be, please repeat after me. C'est quand? C'est quand? D, we will not be pronouncing it. Please understand. No. C'est quand? Nasal sound. Ton ou votre anniversaire. Remember, ton, you will use it if it's in an informal context and votre if it's in a formal context. Okay? Quel est ton anniversaire? Or quel est votre anniversaire? Remember, in ton anniversaire, there'll be a liaison. C'est quand ton anniversaire? C'est quand votre anniversaire? To which you can respond to it in the following way. Okay? You can say, mon anniversaire. Please repeat after me. Mon anniversaire with a liaison here. Et le. You're mentioning the particular date, which is why you're putting le, which means nothing but the. So my birthday is the 2nd of January, 1996. We've already learned what is the months. So you all shouldn't be very difficult to follow this. And then 1996, we just learned, right? So let's combine everything in a sentence and try to say it out loud. Mon anniversaire est le 2 janvier 1996. Je répète, I'm repeating. Mon anniversaire est le 2 janvier 1996. Okay. We are going to continue ahead. In order to practice this better, what you can do is, you can also ask the birth date or you can write the birth date of your family members in this format in order to practice this particular format. Okay, so you can say, if you supposedly want to say my father's birthday is on, so you can say l'anniversaire de mon père. Père means my father. Mon père means my father. So the birthday of my father, l'anniversaire de mon père est le, and then dash, dash, dash. That's how you can write it with all the family members as well. You'll be able to practice this much better. Okay? Or simply, if you do not want to write this, You can avoid this and you can just write the numbers as well, along with the months. You'll be able to have a good practice of it. Okay, and you can also tell them that this is what it means in French. Let's move ahead. How do you read your numbers in French? Okay. How to read numbers in French? I will be reading this in French. Comment means how. Lire le numéro de téléphone. Okay, that means how to read the number in French. Okay, numbers in French are always read in pairs. Like how in India we say normally we would have read this as 9877648690. However, in French we do not say this separately, the numbers, but we say them in pairs. Okay, the question that somebody can ask you or you can ask to ask phone number is, quel est ton numéro de portable? Portable means nothing but smart. It's like a phone. Okay, like your actual smartphone which you have is called portable. If I want to make this in a formal way, note that it is ton here, which is by informal. Okay, I'm going to write IF in the bracket for your better understanding. So it's going to be informal. But in case I want it to be formal, it is going to be quel est votre numéro de portable? And that is going to be formal. Je répète, I'm repeating. Quel est ton numéro de portable? Quel est votre numéro de portable? To which the response can be simply, okay, we are going to combine all of this. Mon numéro de portable est, and then you start saying your number. Mon numéro de portable est, and then you start saying your numbers. Okay, so the numbers are going to be the following. 98 is going to be 98. 77 is 77. 64, 64. 86, 86. 90, 90. And hence, you summarize your phone number. Okay, remember to always say it in pairs. Again, to practice this, you can write the phone numbers of all your family members, of your friends. It'll be a great way to sort of learn them. And try to write them in letters as well next to it so that you can practice it. Okay. With this, we have finished our numbers, basic numbers, which is 0, 2000, and also some large numbers, which we saw today. We also did some couple of exercises and we learned its practical usage. I've added the worksheet for you to be able to solve. And I'm going to be seeing you in our next session to learn more. So happy learning, and I will see you soon. Okay. How do we say I will see you soon? À bientôt et à la prochaine. Au revoir.